this conversation reminds me of the discussion that took place after Michael Lewis's Moneyball. So everyone's familiar with the book about the Oakland A's and how they brought a essentially behavioral economic approach to selecting players. What happened after that book came out?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, one thing happened is I got in touch with Michael Lewis, and we didn't know each other at the time, but through his publisher or something, I said, if you're ever in Chicago, let me know. I'm there next week. And we've become very good friends and have come to realize that sports analytics and behavioral economics are the same field. It's trying, why? Well, what was Billy Beane, who also lives in our Northern California neighborhood, what was Billy trying to do? He was trying to buy a team more cheaply than others by, and it's just like being a portfolio manager. You're trying to buy undervalued stocks. He was trying to buy undervalued players. Michael got so interested in this, he ended up writing the book, The Undoing Project, which is a great book. It's about my mentors, Danny Kahneman and Amos Tversky. He did stick an irrelevant chapter in the beginning about Daryl Morey, but
basketball.
But anyway,
the line I was looking to pull from you is not for nothing, Michael, but what you're writing about. These two Israeli psychologists have been writing about and experimenting with for years. Moneyball directly led to your relationship with him and that becoming a book as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it's about the biases from psychology, and it's also about markets, right? So the difference between behavioral economics and psychology is markets. So a psychologist would be interested in the fact that teams are overconfident in their ability to tell good players from bad. That's pure psychology. The fact that it gets reflected in the market for picks, that's economics.
So let me push back a little bit on this and the winner's curse, in that all the topics that you write about in the winner's curse, oil leases where we don't know what the future oil production will be, first round draft picks where we don't know how that player is going to perform, and in the markets, either picking stocks or picking fund managers to pick stocks, or picking somebody to pick the fund managers in a fund of fund to pick stocks, they all seem to deal with, hey, we really are unaware of how this is going to play out, and we're making decisions under uncertainty. All of this comes back to Kahneman and Tversky.
Well, I'm not gonna disagree with that. I mean, look, I became a behavioral economist when I discovered them. Mm-hmm. I claim that was my big discovery, was discovering these two psychologists who were over in Israel that economists hadn't heard of. And I went and spent a year at Stanford when I got wind that they were going to be there, and basically stalked them.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of the phenomena, they go away when there's not a lot of uncertainty. The winner's curse needs uncertainty, right? If we know what the value of the plot is, there's no winner's curse. It doesn't matter how many people are bidding. If we know, so there's a famous anchoring effect, right? So the anchoring effect is essentially, you ask a question like how many countries there are in Africa but before I do it, I spin a big wheel, right? The wheel has nothing to do with the question. And the wheel gets to like 17 or 8 or whatever. And it turns out wherever that number gets to affects what number people guess about the number of countries in Africa. But if people know the number of countries, they're not going to be affected by the wheel, right? So all of this has to do, almost every single behavioral economic phenomenon is bred and fed through uncertainty. And I think the way that people react to that uncertainty and shape their preferences and beliefs, that's where all the biases seep in the first place. When experts know what they're doing, when they know the value of the plot, they know what whether the stock is going to go up or down. There's not a lot of biases to talk about.